Aloha mai kako, aloha and welcome to Milolii Hipuu Virtual Academy of Kala, second to night, 2023-2024. My name is huakai'i. I'm here with our students at our virtual program, and we're so excited to share with you a wonderful speaker tonight that will share some important ike regarding our culture and hopefully our resources that are provided. Join us every night, every month around the full moon. This is our fourth year of our virtual huakai'i, sharing the stories of Hawaii and its people. Our Zoom ID is on our screen 237-574-9157. And our mo'olelo, our olelo no iao is aohe ulu eloa'a ikapokole o kalo. No breadfruit can be reached when the cooking stick is too short. There's no success without preparation. So this is our olelo no iao that will be guiding our program and our Hoku Nights for 2023. We're so excited to share with you guys some wonderful stories. Last month we talked about journalism and telling stories and interviewing, and tonight we're going to be sharing about a few similar but very important information with culture resource management. So I'm excited. We want to introduce to you guys all our guest speaker tonight. Her name, and she's a good friend of the program, and her mother is a kumu here. But we have Wainani. She's an anthropologist. She's a culture anthropologist with 3 years of professional and academic experience in historical preservation and culture resource management with a focus on Hawaiian and Pacific history. A native Hawaiian speaker, Mrs. Traub has a deep understanding of Hawaiian culture and culture values and possesses extensive experience in researching Hawaiian culture history and conducting ethnographic interviews. She is also experienced in conducting archaeological field work. So we're so excited. She's been a volunteer with the school. I saw her growing up in Hipuu with her mom at different places they used to live, and then she attended Ehunui and eventually graduated from WEA. So we're so happy to have you tonight. So thank you so much, Wainani, for joining us.
Yeah, mahalo for introducing me, Kaimi. Happy to be here. It's kind of ironic that you guys chose that olelo no ea for tonight because I really did not prepare that much for this, but I will do my best. So mahalo,
yes,
thank you for having me.
I just wanted to add, yeah, we are blending that into our conversation, and then we'll have more mana'o as we go tonight. Before we begin, we would like Auntie Pilimai to read our mahina for tonight and give us some just to set the foundation of mahina tonight, and then we will begin with our question.
Oh, Kumukaini, you put me on the spot again. I thought it was going to be Tamani.
No, if Taimani has it, then she can read it. Taimani, do you have the mana'o for the olelo? I mean, for the mahina?
If not, I'm Malkaka. I could read it.
Yeah. Maybe you can read it for more.
Sure. We are in the dry season of Ko. The malama is Mahoi Hope, and our mahina tonight is Hoku. Hoku rises tonight at 5:57 p.m. and will set tomorrow morning at 6:35 a.m. after the sun rises at 6:11 a.m. When Hoku sets after daylight is called Hoku Ili or Hoku or grounded Hoku. Hoku is the 15th day of the Hawaiian lunar month. It is excellent for planting all kinds of plants, but taro and banana will be abundant with small fruits or corms. Seeds will become animated by the full moon. Fishing is good, especially at sea. Kamahina o Hoku, the full moon of the night of Hoku.
Mahalo Pilimai for sharing. The Hoku was so beautiful last night, and tonight definitely will be lighting up the skies in Hipuu and Milolii. So with that said, we would like to start our interview. And we will begin. I will ask the first question, and then question number two will go to Taimani, and then to Leah. Okay. So let me just start off by welcoming our guest again, Wainani. Yep. Can you hear me? Yes, Leah.
Yeah, Taimani doesn't have the questions.
Okay,
Taimani doesn't have the questions.
I'll send her the questions. So the first question tonight is, if you could share your name again, where you're from, and a little bit about who you are, Wainani.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So my name's Wainani. My mom gave me my name, which I really like. And my mom named me Wainani because she swam in the ocean in Kona every day she was pregnant with me. So water, Wainani, beautiful water. And it's a simple Hawaiian name, you know, it's not 30 characters long like a lot of kids that I grew up with going to Ehunui. But I've come to love my simple Hawaiian name. Okay, a little bit about myself. So grew up in Kona, attended Ehunui Kaimalino, was kind of in and out of immersion from elementary through middle school. And then as Ka'imi said, I went to West Hawaii Explorations Academy for high school, graduated from there. And from there I went to community college in Kona. And I also, while I was going to community college, I was teaching, or not teaching, was like a teacher's aide part-time at Ehunui Kaimalino, working in the first grade class. So that was really fun to work with young students. And then from there, I went to UH Hilo to study history, to study Pacific history. And my interest in Pacific history kind of began with a trip to Aotearoa that I was very fortunate to have had the opportunity to go there. It was kind of sponsored through Queen Liliuokalani Children's Center, and it was like a hula cultural exchange trip. And so that I did that when I was 16. And so that trip really opened my eyes to how interconnected Polynesian cultures are. Like we got to go to so many Maori marae and perform or do cultural exchange and talk to people and hear them speak their language, Te Reo Maori. And then it was so cool because like I could almost understand what they were saying with my background in Olelo, Hawaii. So I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. And that's what sparked my interest to pursue Pacific history, because I also was like a history lover. So I just wanted to understand how Polynesians are, you know, we call each other cousins, you know, because we kind of are. We have a shared cultural heritage and lineage and ancestry. So I just wanted to kind of dive into all that. And I had a really great experience at UH Hilo. Really had just really great professors who introduced me to a bunch of internships. And one of my internships was with the State Historic Preservation Division. And so that's a state agency. And the role of, the shorthand, it's called SHPD, so State Historic Preservation Division, SHPD. What SHPD does is that they review all of the state and private projects to make sure that they comply with historic preservation laws. And I thought that was really cool because I'm a lover of history and I don't want to see our historic places, you know, be bulldozed down for no good reason. So yeah, it was kind of an unexciting internship. I was just doing a lot of like paperwork on my computer. but I had a really good mentor, and she taught me she kind of introduced me to historic preservation. And so that led me down my career path, I guess. Did I answer the question or did I go off the rails?
That's way more than what we were asking. I think that really sets the tone of why you are in this particular field. So thank you so much for sharing about a little bit about your name. I didn't know it was when your mom was swimming in the water, but that's so cool. It sounds so soothing and calming. And I think that's so you. So we want to see if Time Money, you have the questions now. If not, Leah, you can ask question number 2. Time Money, you can ask question number 2 on the left, please.
Okay, sorry. What got your interest? What got you interested in history and your work in historical preservation, and why?
Sure. So what got me interested in history? When I was in about 8th grade, I took like a art history class, and I like nerded out on art history. I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And like in nerding out on art history, I learned like I can learn a lot of history through looking at art, and I thought that was really neat. And then that kind of just led me down the rabbit hole of just like getting interested in history in general. So yeah, and then I also had some great history teachers along the way. Like my high school history teacher was like so cool and such a like spunky, like cool old lady. Miss Chinnery was her name. And yeah, what got me interested in historical preservation. So like I said earlier, it was an internship during undergrad that kind of introduced me to historic preservation. And I didn't know what historic preservation was. I didn't even hear about this internship. I just like was in this room at UH Hilo, and then they were having this meeting about like this internship, and I happened to be there. And so I stuck around for the meeting, and then I applied for the internship and I got it. And that's kind of how I discovered historic preservation. And then I realized like, oh, historic preservation is actually really important because these laws are some of the only protections that we have to save and preserve historic places. And who doesn't love historic places? I love, driving through old towns and seeing old architecture and vernacular architecture. So like architecture that is not super fancy, it's just like very, like for example, vernacular architecture in Hawaii would be like plantation style homes. And I just love like the humility of that kind of architecture. You just kind of like used what you had at hand and made do with what you had. And I think it just says a lot about a time and place, and people are nostalgic for past times and places. And so yeah, I guess, did I answer your question? Oh, okay, I guess I can go on a little bit more about that. So yeah, I had an internship working for the State Historic Preservation Division. And then my mentor during that internship told me about the graduate school program that she did, which was the University of Oregon's Historic Preservation program. And I applied for that program and I got in. And so I went to Oregon to get my master's degree, and learned a lot there. I mean, and this was like 6 months before COVID happened. So I had like a whole maybe 2 terms during my graduate school program that was like really immersive, and got to experience a lot of what Portland had to offer. And Portland is really cool. They have lots of historic districts. So we did like architectural surveys of historic districts and got to walk around and talk about all the architectural styles that are represented in the historic district and stuff like that. So yeah, that was a really cool experience.
Awesome. Oh my God, that is so cool. I just really excited that, just kind of figured it out on this internship. If if Leah is ready, she'll be reading question number 3.
History is such a broad subject. What made you pursue that degree, and why should somebody want to major in history?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because people will often say, be like, what are you going to do with history? Like, are you going to be a teacher? Is like what people would always ask us who were pursuing history degrees. They were like, what's actually practical that you can do with a history degree? And this is what I'll say. History kind of gets misunderstood and kind of gets a bad rap. People think history is all about learning facts and names and dates and everything about like wars and kings and queens, and that's history. When really, like, studying history actually teaches you how to be a really good researcher, which is a skill that is applicable to so many things in life and so many careers. History also teaches you the skills to conduct research and like knowing how to use databases and libraries and how to identify like good, solid resources and knowing where to find those resources. So history teaches you to also be a good writer. Yeah, as a history student, every single history class that I took, the final paper or like the final product was always like a 12 to 15 page paper, which most everybody else like pursuing other degrees at UH-Hilo, they would like be so shocked, like, oh my God, 12 to 15 pages, like that's so much writing. So other majors would always be like really shocked when they took like one history course, and they were always saying like how hard history was because it involves so much writing, which it was tough at first, but then I've always had like a really deep appreciation for good writing, and so I wanted to be a good writer, so I kind of like just put in the work to become a good writer, and it's paid off. That's a huge reason why I have the job that I do now. Yeah, history teaches you how to be a good writer and how to organize your thoughts and your interpretation of history into a nice, concise like format. Teaches you how to cite your sources, which is important. Fun fact, when I was a history student, I learned that before pre-law was like a degree, lawyers would back in the day get their undergraduate degree in history, because what do lawyers have to do? They have to make solid evidence-based arguments, and the craft of doing history and historical research teaches you those skills. So that's my plug for history.
Awesome. I know. I mean, you wrote such a beautiful document for our preservation historical site thing for Haole Kamana'o. So mahalo nui, and that does really pay off. Question number 4 is, what is the one thing that you can help a young student who does not know much about cultural resource management want to learn or eventually do this type of work? So how would we want to inspire the next generation to follow this?
Yeah, that's a good question. One thing that could help young people who want to get into cultural resource management. So yeah, the majority of cultural resource management is in Hawaii, at least, is archaeology just so I work on a team of pretty much everybody's an archaeologist, and me and one other person is like more an anthropologist, ethnographer type. So if you like to dig in the dirt and find cool things like buttons and old bottles and just cool artifacts, fish hooks, like there's all sorts of cool stuff that you can find digging in the dirt. So if you really like digging in the dirt and you like digging up old artifacts and you think like old bottles are cool looking, like archaeology might be for you. Yeah, and especially if you like to do research and understand the past and find out how people lived in the past, then archaeology and cultural resource management is a good way to pursue that passion. And yeah, and it's definitely an industry that's like there's always going to be more projects and like new experiences and new opportunities. Yeah, I've like lost track of the amount of projects that I've worked on, and every project is kind of different and new. So like if you get bored with doing the same thing over and over and over again, like this industry, cultural resource management, it's always something different. So
Awesome. That's so cool. Can Taimani, you can read question number 5. Taimani, if you want to unmute yourself and read question number 5, please. Taimani, are you ready?
Mm.
Okay, maybe her internet is not working. Taimani, the question number 5 says, can you share some of the historical sites you have worked on to preserve and protect? So maybe one project that you really want to share that could be something that we don't know about.
sure. And can I share my screen? Because actually I have some photos. Post disabled person.
Hold on 1 second. I'll let you if you host and you can share.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so this project I'll share with you guys is the restoration of Kapuanani Heiau. We're helping Kamehameha Schools as the landowner. And so we're helping them plan for the preservation of this heiau site. So can you guys see that?
Not yet.
Oh, shoot.
Yes, now we can. Ooh,
Oh.
wow, now.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys see Kapuanani Heiau. So yeah, Kapuanani Heiau. I don't know if, can you guys see my cursor?
Yes.
Do you guys still see? Okay.
Yeah, we still see.
Okay. I just got or oh shoot. I think I just yeah, my Zoom has been doing this weird thing. But it won't let me screen share my bigger screen, but if I put it on my smaller screen, it will. So let me just try that again.
While you're doing that, just FYI, Wainani, we're going to be starting to work with Uncle Kiani on this week coming up.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, he was, we worked with him on this project. Do you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Yeah, so here is Kapuanoni Heiau. Like I said, so I work for SWCA Environmental Consent, the company that I work for, and we're helping them with phase 1 implementation of a preservation plan for Kapuanoni Heiau. And if you guys remember, a couple years ago, there was a hotel on this site. Where's the picture of the hotel? I think it's, yeah, okay, so down here. So there was this hotel here, and the hotel was demolished in 2018, and Kapuanoni Heiau is right here. So the hotel was built really close to this heiau, right over here. And KS, as you can see here, acquired the land, and the hotel got demoed, and now they're trying to kind of restore this whole kind of cultural complex. There's also Kapuanoni Heiau, I mean, not Kapua, Hapaiali'i and Ke'eku Heiau. So I think, yeah, this is Hapaiali'i, correct me if I'm wrong, Mom, and this is Ke'eku. And these two have been restored completely. And as you can see, Kapuanoni needs some love and some restoration. So that's what we're helping them to do. And this here is a Land Commission award. This is kind of, this is Mahele documentation. And so this is kind of the stuff that I get to do, is I dig up the oldest primary source documentation and read this, you know, script and figure out what it says. And often these sorts of documents are like the earliest documentation of like land use in particular areas. So this one is talking about how the kahuna of the area lived nearby, and he had his house lot, and he was the last known kahuna to kind of steward the heiau, Kapuanoni Heiau. Yeah, you can see that the hotel pool was like, this is Kapuanoni over here. So the hotel pool was like right up against the heiau. And there it is, as it is today. We also look at historical maps. And so this one was done by Henry Kekahuna, and he mapped out a bunch of sites in Kona in the early or mid 1900s, yeah. So more documentation that we look at. Let's see. Before we could start work, we had to clear some vegetation. So here's a cool slide of kind of like before and after the vegetation. So that's how I look before and after. So that's a fun thing that you can do with story maps like this, before and after, yeah. And then we have our GIS person, Sarah. I get to work with Sarah a whole bunch. She's a drone technician and also GIS whiz. So she's gathering drone footage to do a bunch of cool things, like create these kinds of images where you can basically like identify individual rocks, really cool stuff, and high resolution stuff. Yeah. And so, and then here's some of the stuff that we did. This is my boss here, Roland Reeve. He's been just like the greatest mentor to me. He's been around for a while. Just one of those OGs of like Hawaiian archaeology. And so here's some of like the maps that we created. I did some field work there and helped to identify new rock alignments. And here's Uncle Kiani and Uncle Mahelani. So I got to spend a whole week here and we identified new wall segment. So essentially a lot of these rocks are just kind of loose. And so like anything that's loose is obviously, it hasn't been there for a long time, right? But like if you move around the loose rocks, you can find the older alignments of the heiau. And those rocks are kind of like put in place. And so in some of these later photos, you can see that. So yeah, we kind of move away some of the rocks, and then we see that this is clearly in alignment, right? And so these rocks are kind of like put into the ground there. And like here too.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. I love the graphic.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can kind of see in this photo that all these rocks over here are just kind of loose. So we think that the hotel just kind of pushed them in through here. But then within here, we found an original alignment. So yeah, here's like all the loose stuff, but like this line we kind of identified, and then all these lines too we identified during that field work. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Wainani, we can talk all night about all of this work you have.
Yeah.
I want to let next person go. If Leah, you can read question 6. If not, please might you can read question 6 to for our interview tonight. So Leah, try read number 6. I think your internet is really, really bad. I'm so sorry. If Pilima, you can go read number 6.
Oh, you didn't share the questions with me, Kaimi. Oh, yes, you did. Sorry. I'm sorry. I did. You did. And I shared it. Oh, I didn't even read the questions. Okay. Oh, this is what Kumu Kaimi always does with me on Hiki no Nights. He gives me last minute jobs at the last minute. Okay. Question number 7. What is one of the most important?
Oh, number 6.
Oh.
Number 6. Sorry.
Number 6. Sorry. Who is the one person that you contribute to your love for preserving historical sites? Can you share some of the work and why you decided to take on that project?
This is kind of a hard one. One person. I guess Carrie Ingalls. I also call her Kumukai. She was my history teacher at Hilo, and she taught Hawaiian and Pacific history. She was like a huge influence. Her research is all about Kalaupapa. So she does some really fascinating historical research about Kalaupapa. And for about 20 years, or maybe even longer now, she's been taking her students from Hilo to Kalaupapa. And I went to Kalaupapa with her probably like 5 times, which was really such a great experience, because Kalaupapa is like this place that is just like, I feel like frozen in time. And now it's a National Historical Park. So the Park Service is a really great steward of like, historic preservation and preserving history and interpreting that history in a really sensitive manner. So it's probably, if I had to kind of say one person, and then also Kumukai, Carrie Ingalls, is the one who kind of set up that internship that that kind of introduced me to historic preservation. So yeah, I would say Kumukai, Carrie Ingalls.
Mahalo, Wainani.
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and read the next question too, and then Ka'imi could close with the last question. What is one of the most important projects you did so far? And what is one that you would like to work on possibly in the future?
Okay, one project that I've done for work that I'm really proud of was a cultural impact assessment for, oh, it looks like somebody's in the waiting room. I'm gonna admit them. So cultural impact assessment is like one of those kinds of reports that I do for work. And this cultural impact assessment was all about supporting the Department of DOFA, Department of Wildlife and Forestry, yeah, DLNR DOFA, to implement a project on Kauai that would decrease mosquito populations in Koke'e, so one of like the most pristine, untouched environments on Kauai, and so they wanted to decrease the mosquito populations to protect the native forest birds who live there. So that was a really like beneficial and important project that I got to work on, because it was all about like protecting our native forest birds, and who doesn't want to protect our native forest birds? Like they need all the protection that, and all the resources and all the tools and all the best technology to support their survival. And so I got to write a cultural impact assessment that was, and the way that I framed it was like I just kind of made a really strong case of why native forest birds are really important to Native Hawaiian culture and to the culture of that place. So in my research, I got to find out that so many place names in that area referenced native forest birds, and so many mo'olelo reference native forest birds. And so yeah, that was a really cool project. Even though like I didn't get to go to Kauai, I just got a chance to like research Kauai and research native forest birds. I also got to interview like 4 people, and it was like hula people that spoke about the importance and the role of native forest birds in hula. Yeah, so that project was really pretty cool. And then I think there was like a part 2 to that question. Oh, what kind of project would I like to work on in the future? I would like to work on a UNESCO World Heritage nomination. So UNESCO is like the kind of worldwide organization that says like these are like the world's like greatest heritage sites. And so getting a site nominated to UNESCO World Heritage List is like a big deal. And so I would love to work on a UNESCO World Heritage nomination for a significant place.
Mahalo, Wainani.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for just sharing this wonderful Ike tonight, Wainani. And I feel like the kids are totally going to have to do some research when it comes to this history, because there's so much to learn and there's so much to gain from this experience. And I know we have other kids. We have the Pulivaktis with us tonight, Mele Musi, and of course we have Leah and Taimani. So I know the kids are going to be so excited to share tomorrow when we have class about what they heard and what they learned. But we're about a couple minutes to closing our 1-hour show. And my last question, before I read my last question, I just want to thank you again for joining us tonight and being part of our Hoku nights this year. We will be having Hoku nights every month around the full moon. So we encourage others to join and listen in. And we want to just thank all of our supporters, our community, our ohana, our students, of course, our speaker tonight, Wainani Chua, for sharing about her love for cultural resource management. But in this last question, we want to share is, like every Hoku night, what is your message to others and to the world when it comes to this profession? So I want to share to our honua, this is Wainani Chua, and What is your mana'o to all of them?
Hmm. I at least personally get I feel like my work kind of matters and it could be just like in a small way, but in my little small way, I do feel like it's meaningful work to because basically what I get to do is like I get to advocate for place and for history and for cultural resources that cannot necessarily like speak for themselves. You know, like a historic building cannot be like, hey, protect me, I'm kind of cool. We have to do the research and like find out what's cool about it and then like make a case for why it should be protected or why it should be restored or whatever it is. So yeah, I find a lot of meaning in my work because I get to kind of advocate on behalf of places that cannot speak for themselves. So I think that answers the question.
Yes, no, thank you so much for sharing. And I think when we have our speakers every year or every month, they're bringing that voice to the ones that don't have a voice. And working with Uncle Keone doing through mapping has always told me how important our pohaku is and the work we do is so important. So that's definitely mahalo again for sharing tonight. And we thank you for being our guest. Thank you for all of our on Zoom tonight. Mahalo nui. And just want to share our screen of our flyer. So next month we'll be here again on the show. I just want to thank all of you guys for joining and thank you, Wainani, so much for being part of our show. Hello.
Mahalo for having me. Okay, aloha.
Aloha. Thank you, everybody. Aloha.
Hui hou.
Ahui ho vai. Mahalo nui.
Bye.